G'day traders, Sam here looking at Ethereum and possibly it could be a head and shoulders formation. So let's have a look at the structure from a big picture perspective and then come down to the current scenario. So what I have, as you can see, as I shrink this, looks like a descending channel. And it does line up very well, doesn't it? So what can we say with channels? And if you don't know this, here's a lesson for you. We have extreme points, and so here is going to be an extreme point. If we break that, then it is a changing trend. So anytime we have a channel and you break the extremes. If you use the pitchfork, for instance, the 100 to 200% on the pitchfork is extreme, overextended, and if you break that, it's a changing trend for that time frame. So if we break this level, then we can start looking at, say this was to go and then break that, then we start looking at a channel that way. So it's become a changing trend. So our trend is currently downwards, and if we were to break that level, then we look at a trend that way. So that's number one as a lesson. So I have my channel, and I'll use this to look at the bigger picture. At the moment, I'm currently shorting, and you say, yeah, what would you short because of the upgrade and so on? It doesn't matter. I've actually entered my short there, my main short. Give us a sec. I can do that. So I've got a short entry there. I've taken some profit. I'd be stupid not to. And I've taken another short, and it was a bit late, but in either way, I took a short there, and I also taken profit. So I've taken profit there, and I've come down here. I've taken profit. So I've got two shorts coming, and if this was to get I'm willing to sacrifice that if it goes up to that level, but that's me at the moment. So let's talk about the chart itself. If you can see how I did this, it is a method. My method. I haven't learned it from anyone. I just use it to my discretion, and if it makes sense, I use it. So the middle part of this channel, and if you use a pitchfork, it will be the same. Um, is average value really the mean? So currently we're over. So here, what happens is price is below the average, price is above the average. So this is our average price. And here, so when price goes below average price, it wants to return to the middle. And similarly, we want to see it's likely to return to the middle if this continues on. Um, However, having said that, this could be our last point before it goes goes that way. So we can see that price is going sideways here. So what we had is price descending and then price capitulating. Price going sideways, ascending, and that was a macro sideways, bear flag, and then price dropping and then capitulation. So that's one cycle. That's our second cycle. This is our third cycle. And we like looking at things with threes. So when we look at things at threes, from an alleyway perspective and so on, we can say that this is wave one, wave two, wave three, wave four, and wave five could be anywhere, right? Or this could be wave five if we look from another perspective. So this could be wave three and four, wave five. I still believe that we could come back down to this bottom level. So anyway, looking from that perspective, um, if we look at this from a big picture perspective, you can see where we start to capitulate when we break that macro trend line. can make it a bit better, but that's it there. Once we lost that, you can see our price just drops. Now, where did this start from? That price started around here, roughly there. Give it a bit up a day. I think price will come down to that level. This is where the cycle started. So I still feel like we might be able to get there. But at the moment, it's not likely to drop that much. So if we look at it from there to there, I don't see it dropping another 59%. Let's see how much it's dropped so far from the top. 80%, 85% is probably what I was thinking. So would that make 85%? Yeah, it does. It does make 86, 85%. So that's still possible. With the Ethereum upgrade version 2, it's made a nice rally. So, and that was a big move for Ethereum to go up that level. So 140. That's not that impressive. But anyway, so I do see this as a potentially head and shoulders. And what I'm looking for is that pretty much this is a broadening structure. You can say this is an ascending wedge in a way, or a channel, give or take. And you can see how that was our shorting position. Actually, I did a good job, didn't I? So it did drop. I did a nice shorting position. I wish I did leverage. I did more margin. And my second wasn't the best, but still pretty good. Now this head and shoulders is it like to play? Well, we got the 618 for this impulse from there to there. We got the 618. So that's one position I'm looking at. And if Ethereum was a bit bullish, then I do see this potential as well. So that was one position with that blue trend line, finding resistance. So I do see that. Or the other one is pretty much again going really bullish, but that doesn't make sense because the right shoulder is usually smaller than the left shoulder. So I don't see that happening. So I see this more so. Maybe if I do that, could do it. Okay, so we have that macro trend line. So if you look at this big picture, you can see how this trend line, there was a lot of volume there. So this is going to be strong resistance. I still feel comfortable saying that could, this 0.382, yep, or was 618. So I still feel like this is what it's likely to do. And if it does, and if it comes back down, then understand this. If this was to play out, then we can do the measured move. And if that was the measured move, okay, in the 800 range. Depends where it drops from, really. And it could also overperform. Now, this is a broadening structure, but this is bearish as well. Do I feel like it's going to come all the way straight away? No, I do believe. So if we look at this, if this was to come back down, we'll just trickle down and then eventually. And you can see the broadening structure come into play. So we had a bit of support here, and it really depends on what Bitcoin does, but you might just do a smaller one, and that's another opportunity. So that's the best opportunity here. Now let's add the templates. Give us a sec. Bullish divergence is playing out on the 8 hour, and we can see if that was the resistance, we can see that this could potentially play out. Oops. On the 8 hour, so we'll keep an eye on that. But at the moment, the Phoenix is bullish. You break the 50% level, that candle did it, and the rest is trying to go up bullish. So it is upward pressure at the moment for bullish divergence. So this might just keep going. And if we look at this, let's just shrink this a bit. Look on the daily perspective. Okay, so we can see that on the daily also playing out. So I'm looking at that. And the Phoenix on the daily hasn't passed 50%. Still long way to go. It's not no way bullish enough. Needs to close above, as you can see. So the daily is still in the bearish zone. And now we'll look at the weekly. Let's do this. And the weekly, let's see what it does. Okay. So we want to see it break above that to feel confident that there's a changing trend as well on the weekly. And if I was to just clear that up. Okay, so the weekly 200 SMA. It didn't do the other. Okay. If I was to do this, EMA, way up, RMA. Yeah, the RMA is what Bitcoin did as well. Okay. Get back to the default. We can see that this didn't touch the 200 moving averages on the daily, and actually we can see the 200 4-hour moving average. That will be acting as resistance. So that is our resistance. The weekly is actually looking. So I see the bottom. There was no wick. That's a bit surprising. Would have thought they would continue to go down. Yeah. So that was abrupt. And this candle is looking a bit weird as well. But I do see it going up to 1700. Retest that weekly level, or this level here, which is 1620. So from a weekly perspective, we can see that the weekly candle body, that's the target, that's the main resistance. So let's just do this. Let's just clear up a few things. This is a methodology that you probably want to use. If you're not, probably have your own. But I haven't done it today. But we could just do the weekly level on the candlesticks. Just give a sec. Magnet's not working. Okay, that's better. Let me just do this again. I'll use that one. And I'll use this one. Yep, same level. Okay. And that value is that. Just make it red. Now, if we go to our daily chart, and we can actually hide that for a sec. I'm not sure where that came from. Okay, so there is our weekly level, 1620. And you can see the weekly level, 1620, is, let's get rid of the magnet. You can see how that was the resistance there, 1620, and acting as support. So this is going to be 1620 is going to be the main one, and then we got the wick, which is 1660. So our weekly coincides with the 618 on the daily, along with, if we go to the 8 hour, so far it's doing it. We have that trend line, give or take a bit. So if this comes there, you can see ever so slightly. If it goes up, that's it. It's going to find resistance there with the 618. for this level. Yep. And if we were to enable the price on the 618 or the fib, that has 613, 1613, so to 1631. Okay. So there's a lot of confluence there. Ideally, that 200 moving average on the 4 hour could be the next level up. If this was to go up, if it breaks this, then 1. That's your level there. And that's got confluence with that moving average as well. So we've got either that or that level there. As a point of resistance, so this trend line, I won't put too much weight on it because trend lines are deceptive. It really depends on how you look at it. We don't have enough touches to say this is a proper trend line. So I'm looking at there. It's not a proper trend line. It's not confirmed because if we use that line and that line there, that's 2 points. That's more likely to be a trend line. I won't use the top. And again, confluence there. Now, from a big picture perspective, I do see it coming down, as I said. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. I don't think I can add any more to it. I'm still interested in this range, lower range to go in long. This does look like a bonding structure, and the chances are that it will eventually come down, and then we'll have our bonding structure to the bearish side, and maybe that has a V and a cup. So this could be a real boring stage, and then we have very similar to, and we have the 200 moving averages coming along, and then up. So I'm looking at that scenario well as, and if it capitulates, if it breaks this level, then I'll be looking for this level of entry. Really depends on what Bitcoin's doing at the time. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Talk to you soon. Cheers.